Hi, Matt with eTrailer, and today we're talking about the Titan Chain tire chains on our 2023 Nissan Rogue. We're going to have this on our front axle as what the manual recommends, and our tire size is going to be 235/60 R18. Now this is going to fit a wide range of tire sizes. That's just the one we have today. If you're not sure this is going to fit your vehicle, you can plug in your vehicle's information into our fit guide to find the correct fit for you. So let's check it out. These are going to be a great set of chains if you're in some conditions that are just light duty, maybe just a little bit of snow, or you just live in a state that requires you to have chains, and you just need these on hand. Now the reason why I recommend these for more of those light duty conditions is going to be because the design of the links themselves. These are going to be roller link chains, so they're not going to have a lot of hard edges, so if you're driving over a lot of ice, they might not be as ideal. However, they will provide you more of a smooth ride overall just because of the design of the link. They're also going to be made from a low carbon steel, so they're going to be a softer metal, which will also improve your drive quality, but they're not going to be as strong as a metal as some of the other options we have. They're also going to be Class S, which is really nice for what we have today because if you notice where our suspension is, I can get my hand underneath there and it's not even close. Now with some more bulky chains, you do get a lot closer to that suspension, which does have the chance of making contact, but you don't have to worry about that with these chains. And what I really like about these ones in particular is at the very bottom, we're going to have this lever. And I like these levers a lot because a lot of times trying to get these chains tightened all the way just by pulling on these blocks can kind of be a hassle. So that lever is just going to assist with giving you the correct tightness that you need. These chains are going to come two to a set in this pretty light duty bag, but that's okay because they're pretty light duty chains, so they shouldn't tear up too much. Now something to think about is trying to get your chains back in here because one, this bag isn't going to take up a lot of space in your car, but trying to get those chains back in here can be kind of difficult because the chains are a little springy. If that's an issue for you, then what I'd recommend doing is just investing in a small tote to keep your chains in. And something that I would recommend grabbing too is going to be a rubber tensioner. Because what this is going to do is as you're driving on the road, a lot of times your chains are going to shift and they're going to loosen up some. What this is going to do is constantly apply tension on those chains so they don't loosen up on the road and then make contact with your suspension. But in my opinion, I think these are a great set of chains if you're just looking for something to stay legal in your state or just give you a little bit more traction when you are driving. Now the only downside to this is actually installing them because the Rogue is pretty low to the ground, so it is kind of hard to make that connection on the backside of this tire. If that is an issue for you, Titan Chain also makes another tire chain that is roller links too. And what it does is you make all your connections on the front side and it comes with a rubber tensioner too. So if that's a better option for you, then I strongly recommend it. But if you don't mind this, then this will work fine. If you are curious to see what that installation looks like, just stay tuned. We'll walk you through the process. To start off the installation, I'm going to lay out our chains. And I'm also going to grab some gloves just to make this easier. And if you are doing this for the first time, I recommend staying home, trying this out so you don't have to figure this out on the side of the road in the middle of a blizzard. But what I'm doing is just checking our links to make sure there's no damages to them and to make sure it's in the right orientation. We want to make sure this hook is facing up, so it's away from our tire. And this lever is going to be on the outside of our chains because if it's on the inside, we won't be able to reach it as well. And we're just going to grab our chains and drape them over. And at this point, what we're mainly trying to do is to make sure everything's pretty even. We don't want anything hanging too low where it's going to make contact with our rim. And we want to orient the ends of this so it's going to be a little bit easier to grab so later on we can make our connections. I like to start on the back side of our tire. We're going to grab the end with that open channel and the other end with those metal blocks. And we're just going to push that through that opening and secure this down. Now this can be a little bit tricky, especially if you are a larger person, because we don't have a whole lot of clearance underneath here. but you just run that through to a certain point that feels kind of tight. We don't want this too tight because then we won't get an even fit on both ends. So this might take you a few tries. The front side is going to be the same process, running those blocks through here till we get to a point right here. And then we're going to push this lever down, and this is going to tighten everything up, and we'll secure it at the very end. Now you'll notice we have a lot of excess right here. So we're going to have this tab on the side. You can actually put all that excess through there, so it's not just hanging out as you're driving on the road. Now it can be a little bit tricky to get it through there because just the shape of it. But if you just wiggle it around a bit, it'll catch on. Then from this point, I just have to give it a good pull test, make sure everything feels pretty good. It does, but what I recommend doing is grabbing that rubber tensioner that I talked about earlier, and this is going to take out that slack for when we are driving on the road. The way I like to put it on is in a star pattern, and when we're placing those hooks onto the chains, we want to make sure this hook is facing away from your tire so it doesn't puncture anything. It might take you a few times to get everything pretty even and pretty spread out. Just give it another pull. If it feels pretty good, then you repeat this process on the other side, and when both tires are done, I recommend pulling forward or back some just to make sure everything's feeling pretty good, nothing's shifting too much. And if it looks good, then you can take it out for a ride. But that's just a look at the installation and some of the features of the Titan Chain tire chains on our 2023 Nissan Rogue. Thanks for watching.